Welcome to the Mastering Business Skills podcast, where we interview successful small business owners who share their own journey, mastering the skills they needed to grow and be successful in their business. Learn the struggles, the wins, and all the things they learned along the way, so you can cut down on your own learning curve.
Welcome to Mastering Business Skills. Today we're talking to Erika Dickstein, the CEO of Spring Insight, a marketing strategy firm that helps business leaders and subject matter experts cut through the noise with websites and marketing that actually works. Her team combines strategy-first design, ongoing marketing execution, and generative AI optimization to ensure clients are discoverable and credible in the era of AI-driven search. Welcome to the show, Erika. We're so good to have you here.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be here.
Good. Well, we're excited to learn more. So tell us a little bit about what you do and what inspired you to start your business.
Oh gosh, it's really interesting. So I've been in business now since 2011, 2012. I sort of started at the end. Anyway, I think 2012 actually. And it's really I had been working with I'd been doing marketing, I come from the corporate world, so working with a number of sort of corporate entities on their website, on website initiatives that they had going, and decided at some point that, you know what, the people who are on the other side, the people who are actually creating the websites, don't have, that they're not, there's nothing magic there. And I really, what I really came to see was that, particularly, I had a number of friends who had smaller businesses and who had gotten websites done. And every time I looked at them, I was like, why did they do that? Why did they, and one of the things that I realized was there's sort of a yawning chasm between the how good websites were for these larger entities that I was working for and the smaller businesses. And the reason was because, so a lot of it goes to this whole thing of website design, like the idea that you're going to get a website designer. I've always been very strongly like, no, you don't want to hire a website designer. Just like if you need a new house, you're not going to hire a house designer. You're going to hire an architect, you're going to hire builders, right? So there are all of these. That's what inspired me initially to get into this field. And whenever I talk about what I do, particularly to a younger person, one of the things that I always say is, what's amazing is that what I do, I'm 56 years old. What I do didn't exist when I was in college. So, when you talk about what is it that you want to do when you grow up, like, write that question. Well, what I do now did not exist. And what's even more so is that what I do now, the work that we're doing now, didn't exist when I started the business.
Right.
Even, what is it, 12, no, 14, I guess, years ago, or 13 years ago now, right? So that's, so the progression is I started out doing website strategy, which we still very much do. We do ongoing marketing support. So basically outsourced marketing, as you said, for subject matter experts, for associations, for government contractors. The through line is we really work with experts. We work with people. Typically our clients have longer sales cycles. They have more complicated, what they're doing is a little bit more complicated. It takes a little bit more thought to express what they're doing. And so and they're busy doing the work that they're doing. They're not necessarily busy doing the marketing for that. And so that's the work that we do. So the recent thing that we just launched, as of the recording of this, we just launched our new product. Oh gosh, three weeks ago, a month ago. which is generative AI optimization. And it's so funny because as I use that, we still industry wide have not established a name, like search engine optimization. Everybody knows SEO. So I say GAIO. Other people say GEO. So there's all these different, or LLMEO. There's all these different acronyms. So maybe when you actually release this recording, it'll be called something completely different, but we call it generative AI optimization. And that's our newest thing is basically, so if somebody were to search, I need a podcast that is going to teach me business skills that will upgrade. I'm a solopreneur, and I really want to understand what are the best podcasts. You obviously want yours to be represented. So, what are the things that you need to do to facilitate that, just like search engine optimization, or what facilitates being on these search engines.
Right. Yeah, that's really very interesting to me because I'm actually in the middle of boot camp with Amy Porterfield right now.
Hmm.
One of the topics we talked about yesterday in the VIP session was, and she calls it GEO. I
Hmm.
was so fascinated by that. So I am thrilled to hear about this today because as a techie, that excites me. So it's like, okay, great. I get to learn about something new. So,
Yeah, it's really it is. It's really interesting. And as you can see, it changes every day. Like it's really one of those things where it's an iterative process. And I mean, if you work a lot with generative AI engines, they don't even understand themselves fully. This is
right,
something I came to understand. I was working recently on a thread with ChatGPT, where I was trying to get it to do something, and I would ask it if it could do that, and it would say yes, and then it wasn't able to do it. And then at some point I was like, no, you're really not able to do this. It's like, well, it appears I'm not. So I mean, they don't even know
right.
what they're able to do. So clearly, unlike prior technologies where I think the boundaries were better understood, this is one where it's not. And so, really coming up with the answers has been fascinating.
So tell me a little bit about the generative. How does that kind of help your clients even more? I mean, I understand the basics of it, but how can it help them beyond maybe what they might even think that it does?
Well, I mean, I think, when we launched this, we obviously offered it to our clients first, and one of our clients said, before this sounds like a great product. I'm interested, but before we invest in it, what I'd really like to understand is I'd like to understand how many clients. I mean, this is so new. How many clients are we getting from generative, from this?
Right.
I don't think it would be very many. And my response to him was, you're probably right. But in like even as little as 3 years, you're going to be getting so many more. So, I mean, if you think about the rise of generative AI, none of us were using it 3, 4 years ago. And then it's really only been in these past 2 years. So I saw a statistic, it was from the Gartner group, and it was basically that 20% now, this is not specific B2B, but this is just across, but 20% of sort of sales prospecting conversations now start on generative AI, which, by the way, that in and of itself is unbelievable. Or at least those that you would have previously started on search engines. And they think that it's going to go up to as much as 95% in 2027. And we are in that Wild West period. Remember, 2012, 2013, when search engine optimization was really the Wild West, when, like, Google was fairly new, and it was really people were sort of beginning to understand that. And I mean, here's what I'll say from that period, the people who were the entities that were able to really understand it early and to establish themselves early were much more successful over the long run because you were able to, set up your outpost in the wild, wild west. So that's what I would answer is, it's not necessarily that by doing this, you're bringing yourselves in hundreds of clients on day one, but you're establishing yourself.
Right. And I'm just curious. So when you offered this AI integration to your existing clients, did you have any like, oh, that's AI? I mean, did you have any like resistance? I'm just
And certainly
curious.
not all of them have purchased. So,
Yeah.
in as much as that is resistance, we certainly have had resistance. I don't think any of it has been, oh, not AI. Um, it really is more so, at this time we don't have the funding, et cetera, et cetera. So it's sort of more the usual things. I mean, certainly, look, everybody has qualms about AI.
Yeah.
I have qualms about AI. I have two kids who are like, two college age kids. I don't think you can have kids at that age without thinking, what
Yeah.
are we doing?
Yeah.
Um, but you just sometimes have to put that aside and say, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So not based on it being AI. But let me take your question in a slightly different direction though, which is when we talk about AI, though, we always do have to talk about the two sides of the coin, which is, I just did a webinar on this, and the way that I put it is AI bots are takers. So, right, AI assistants are takers. They are not givers. They are not into this because they are there to help you create your business. They
Right.
are there. They want your data. They're taking, 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 taking.
Right.
So even when we work with our clients to come up with content that is going to be attractive to these AI bots, we do so knowing that they want that and they want to present that thinking as their own. And there are questions. So you can write the best blog ever about let's say you're an accounting firm, and this is actually true. We have an accounting firm that works particularly with distilleries, right? They have a good focus on distillery clients. So let's say you write an excellent blog, which I know they have because we write their blogs, um, on inventory management and taxation for end of year planning, right? Like, if there's going to be tax increase in your state, should you consider increasing inventory, et cetera, right? Something like that. You can write the best blog ever on that topic. If somebody goes to generative AI and asks that question, your name is never going to be mentioned. You're not going to come up, right? The only hope and the work that we're doing is that if somebody goes in and says, I have a distillery company, and I am overwhelmed by my books. How can I find an accounting firm that can help me that is focused on my issues, right?
Right.
That's where you're going to show, it's where you're going to show up, but you have to give up the answers to all of these other things that
Right.
it's answering instead of in the old world search engine optimization, well, not now, of course, because now even with search engine optimization, they're creating the answers. So they're still giving that out without you. But in the old world, right, it was linking to your site.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good way to put that.
Yeah.
I find that very interesting how we've come from way back when Google started and all of this to what it's developing into now. And to me, there's a lot of possibilities. I know sometimes I have people say to me that, oh, AI is going to replace. No, it's not going to replace. I don't think. I think it's a tool to use, but I don't think it's going to replace anything particularly.
I mean, I think, look, there's the global thing and then there's the where we work. I don't know whether or not, could it at some point, that is a bigger thinker than
Yeah.
me, and that is outside of. But the way that we at Spring Insight really lean into this technology is I don't know who said this, but AI won't replace us, but somebody, but another firm who is better able to use AI might. And so that is why we work so hard really to understand it and to implement as part of our workflows so that we're able to use it to create more value for our clients.
So on our podcast, we talk about mastering business skills. So what's the one skill that you've mastered that you want to share with our audience now, and they could start to learn or implement it from what you've learned?
I think the thing that we have become very, very good at Spring Insight, and I'll continue to lean in on AI because it makes it really helpful, is being able to create content that we can then reuse and reuse and reuse and reuse. We were even talking about this before. So let me just give you an example. We create videos. So we'll create a video on a given topic. We'll then take the written, the oh my God, words have started just
Transcript.
completely escaping. Thank you, Sharon. The transcript. We'll take the transcript of that video. We'll upload it into ChatGPT, which we have trained in our voice, on our writing, et cetera, et cetera. It'll give us a blog. The blog, which we of course then proofread, et cetera, and usually will modify quite a bit. And then, now because we are practicing what we preach and doing generative AI best practices, we'll also do FAQs for it, and we'll optimize for generative AI. So there you go. So now you've got one thing that's been made into two. We'll then take that, we'll cut that into shorts. We will do a bunch of social media posts from it. So, but basically, we can take, and we have some clients that we do this for, that we can take whether it's a blog, whether it's a video, whatever it is, we can take one sort of piece of knowledge transfer that we get from our clients and create 25, 30 separate, smaller pieces of content that we can use on a variety of different channels. And I think that where that comes in so handy is, particularly our clients have no time. They have hired us because they have no time. They are busy doing their work. The marketing stuff that they do, like, we need to fit to their schedule. We need to take the expertise, this amazing knowledge that they have given us, and we need to repackage it in as many ways as we can and really create value for them so that they don't have to constantly be thinking that through. And so I think that's the thing that we really have become very expert at, is creating just a lot of valuable content from a very little bit of our clients' time.
Right. I think that's an amazing skill because Erin knows this about me. Content is not my friend.
Mhm.
I can sit down to try to write something and I'll be there for 2 or 3 hours and I might have one sentence. And so the fact that you're able to do that, but not only do that, but also have all the other assets that your clients need in their marketing is, I think, an amazing skill to
Oh, thank you. And Sharon, I promise you, you have all that content. That's the thing. I mean, this is the thing we find out about our clients all the time, right? Is they're always saying to us, oh, I don't think anybody would be, I've never blogged. I don't think that anything that I say is very interesting. I don't, we don't, but I mean, I just gave you the example, right?
have.
The distillery example, or we had a divorce attorney. How do you, how are divorces differ when you have people who are on 1099 versus W-2, right? Like all these are like the kinds of questions that like these are clients who would say, I don't have anything interesting to say. And then you ask them that and they'd be like, well, let me tell you, blah, 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 blah. Let me give you an example. Blah, 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 blah. And then they like give you this entire thing. And you're like, well, that was fascinating. And there's a month's worth of content that you have just given me, right? And that's the thing about the people that we work with, right? They don't think they have the content. They absolutely 100% have it. And it's really not that hard to access. It's just that it's not that hard to access. It's just that they don't think of this knowledge that they have in their head as being being good content. And so that's what it is. It's figuring out how to take it from them and then create the content that is going to be interesting for their for their platform.
Yeah, I deal with that for myself a lot. I know things and I know things, but it's like, I think everybody knows what I know. And yeah, it's not,
Yeah. I mean, I think first of all, everybody doesn't know what you know. Let's just be 100% clear that everyone doesn't, right?
right.
But second, you're going to you being you, Sharon, you being whoever is listening, is going to have a unique perspective and a unique spin on it. I mean, if you think about it, right, Hollywood movies, there's what I think there's studying this. There's just like 12 stories or something. I think that's wrong. I pulled that right out of my tush. But there's some number of stories. And they just, every single movie is really a repackaging,
Yeah,
whether it's coming of age, whether it's, boy meets girl, girl is engaged to somebody else, et cetera, right? There are
right.
a certain number of stories, and every single time they make a movie, it's a retelling of that story, right? So there's not much new in the world. But if we all said, well, Casablanca has already been told, thus I am not going to make a movie, there'd be no more movies, right?
Yeah, that's
Uh,
very true. Very true.
yeah, that was a good comparison too. Because
Yeah,
if you think about all the Hallmark Christmas movies and all, where it's
yeah,
you know, he's with the wrong girl, and then he finds the right girl in a bakery, and then they fall in love, and then they get
right.
married, and it all happens within like a month's period, if that.
That is, I mean, like, look, Hallmark Christmas movies are the like manifestation of this that is the most like crazy,
Yeah.
right? Because they really are. And that, but even not, that's such a specialized thing, but even not that, right? With wider, like, there really are very different. It's funny. My elder child is really enjoys K-dramas. And I've watched a couple of K-dramas with them, and it is the same thing, right? There's this one that they watch, Crash Landing Onto You, that is, the boy meets girl, and girl is from South Korea and boy is from North Korea. You're like, oh, that is a new spin on this. Like you are divided. That is a new spin on this, right? So like it is, but the boy meets girl, there is a problem and they are not able to immediately be together, right? So, and we're so far off topic on this, but going back to what we're saying, right? There's always going to be, whether it's your voice that you're bringing into it, your examples, there's going to be something different about what you offer that is going to make this something that is worthwhile.
Right. It's your own unique experience that
Mhm.
you bring to it. Yeah, very true. So, how would someone know if this is the right time for them to hire a digital marketing firm? What are there some signs that they can kind of look to, or is it
I
just
think
a gut?
for most of our clients, what they are experiencing, they've grown to be large enough that that they really do have an engine that they need to run. They feel guilt about, there's always this, I know I need to do this. I know I need to take care of this, but it's not getting done. That's usually what we're seeing from them. Um, and in general, I think they're experiencing, what they're experiencing is they wouldn't necessarily say, "Oh, I need a digital marketing firm." It's, I don't have enough time. I know this needs to be done. I know that I need to feed other mouths. That's usually where we are, is they just know that there's this piece that isn't getting done and that they need to make sure that they're doing it. That it gets done, but it's not going to happen by them, right? Because as you hire new people, right? You are now doing more work. You're actually, you're bossing these people. So that's, I think, the piece, and they know that they've got, in a lot of cases, they're well connected with the people that we work with. In a lot of cases, they're very well connected. They really they've probably, because they are subject matter experts, they very well might have gone to, under the high school, undergraduate, they likely even have a graduate degree, right? So they know a lot of people from their community, et cetera, but they also know that they're not really taking advantage of having that larger platform by being present.
Right, right. So, what's next for your business?
Oh gosh, thank you for asking that. I mean, right now the big shift has been the either
Right.
GEIO or GAIO, and we're I think of the snake who's the snake who's eating the mouse, right? That's what we're digesting right now. I think probably, we have been dabbling also in working on some governmental things on the state level, not on the federal level, because that's a challenging area. So that's an area that we continue to be very interested in, because it is a place where you really do feel like you can affect really interesting change. Because boy, oh boy, from our perspective, when you look at governmental sites, your thought is never, wow, this is really easy to navigate and I feel good
Yeah,
about this, right? So
right.
Yes.
we love being involved. We love being involved with those. But for me, um, I think that's one of the areas that we continue, but just continuing to grow with uh, our clients. I think the thing that I love the most about my business is that we have a core group of, we have clients that we work with that we're a partner to. We don't just, our goal is never to build a site and then say goodbye. I mean, that does happen. Not everybody wants a partner, but the ones that we love are the ones that we really can continue to partner with and to grow with, whether it's sometimes it is just by continuing to maintain the site and building it as they need. Other times it is by doing marketing, and recently the generative AI. So that's definitely keeping me busy.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. Well, Erika, I have your website and your LinkedIn. I'm going to drop those in the show notes. And if there's anything else that you would like me to drop in, we can also do that too. If there's maybe a direct page to the generative AI solutions that you provide, we
Yeah,
can
absolutely. Yeah,
also.
absolutely. I'm certainly happy to provide you with the link. It's one of our it's one of our service pages.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Hold on just one second. I'm so sorry. My do not disturb is not working very well. You are going to take care of this, right, Sharon?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Nope.
It is my eldest who clearly does not realize that I am. Okay.
It's an
So
easy
sorry.
fix. It's
So
an
sorry
easy
about that.
fix.
So sorry about that. Yes, I would be happy to get you. Actually, hold on. I will do what I do when we have a break, which is to like, okay.
Yep.
Going back on, yes, no, I'd be very happy to get you the link for our generative AI optimization.
Yeah.
We also, if people are interested, it's not available now, but I know it will be by the time that you release this. We have a quiz for any organization that is like, well, I don't know how optimized my organization
Oh,
is for
great.
generative AI optimization. So we have a quick 10-question quiz, just
Great.
asks you some questions, and then it will give you where you are on your generative AI optimization journey. And if you are willing to give us your email address, we get you the results, and then we also give you what is the next thing you can do. What's a quick win?
Good.
Awesome.
Great. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, definitely. Send me that link also.
Yeah,
Put that in the
definitely.
I will
show notes
absolutely get you that
also.
link.
Yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time to talk about this with us. And to anybody that is listening in, we hope you tune in again next time. And we hope that you also reach out to Erika, especially if you need that generative AI optimization.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, ladies. It was a real treat to talk to you both.
Yeah, for us too. Absolutely.
And Sharon, you need to let me know what Jonathan thinks.
I will.